اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
فقال عليك السلام يا ولدي ويا شافع أمتي قد أذنت لك. فدخل معهما تحت الكساء وأقبل عند ذلك أبو الحسن علي بن أبي طالب فقال السلام عليك يا بنت رسول الله. فقلت عليك السلام يا أبا الحسن ويا أمير المؤمنين. فقال يا فاطمة إني أشهد عندك آية طيبة كأنها آية أخي وابن أمي رسول الله. فقلت نعم هو مع ولديك تحت الكساء. وقال السلام عليكم يا رسول الله فتذروا لي أن أكون معكم تحت الكساء. قال له وعليك السلام يا أخي ويا وسيء وخليفتي وصاحب لي قد أذنت لك. فدخل علي تحت الكساء ثم أتيت نحو الكساء وقلت السلام عليك يا أبتاه يا رسول الله أتذن لي أن أكون معكم تحت الكساء. قال عليك السلام يا بنتي ويا بذتي قد أذنت لك. فدخلت تحت الكساء فلما اكتملنا جميعا تحت الكساء أخذ أبي رسول الله بطرف الكساء وأومأ بيده اليمنى إلى السماء وقال اللهم إن هؤلاء أهل بيتي وخاصتي وهامتي لحمهم لحمي ودمهم دمي يؤلمني ما يؤلمهم ويحزنني ما يحزنهم. أنا حرب لمن هربه وسلم لمن تعلمه وعدو لمن عادهم ومحب لمن أحبهم إنهم مني وأنا منهم. فاجعل صلواتك وبركاتك ورحمتك وغفرانك ورضوانك علي وعليهم وأذهب عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا. فقال الله عز وجل يا ملائكتي ويا سكان السماوات إني ما خلقت سماء مبنية ولا أرضا مدحية ولا قمرا منيرا ولا شمسا مضيا ولا فلكا يدور ولا بحرا يجري ولا فلكا يسري إلا في محبة هؤلاء الخمسة الذين هم تحت الكساء. فقال الأمين جبرائيل يا ربي ومن تحت الكساء. فقال عز وجل هم أهل بيت النبوة وأماد الرسالة هم فاطمة وأبوها وبنوها وبنوها. اللهم فقال جبرائيل يا ربي أتذن لي أن أهبط إلى الأرض لأكون معهم سادسا. فقال الله نعم قد أذنت لك. فهبط الأمين جبرائيل وقال السلام عليك يا رسول الله العلي الأعلى يقرأك السلام ويفتك بالتحية والإكرام ويقول لك وعزتي وجلالي إني ما خلقت سماء مبنية ولا أرضا مدحية ولا قمرا منيرا ولا شمسا مضيا ولا فلكا يدور ولا بحرا يجري ولا فلكا يسري إلا لعدلكم ومحبتكم وقد أذن لي أن أدخل معكم فهل تأذن لي يا رسول الله. فقال رسول الله عليك السلام يا أمين وحي الله إنه نعم قد أذنت لك. ودخل جبرائيل معنا تحت الكساء. فقال لأبي إن الله قد أوحى عليكم يقول إنما يريد الله ليذهب عنكم الرجس أهل البيت ويطهركم تطهيرا. فقال علي لأبي يا رسول الله أخبرني ما لجلوسنا هذا تحت الكساء من الفضل عند الله. فقال النبي صلى الله عليه وآله والذي بعثني بالحق نبيا واصطفاني بالرسالة نزيا ما ذكر خبرنا هذا في محفل من محافل أهل الأرض وفيه جمع من جهاتنا ومحبين إلا ونزلت عليهم الرحمة وهفت بهم الملائكة واستغفرت له إلا أن يتفرقوا. فقال علي عليه السلام إذا والله خذنا وفاذ شيعتنا ورب الكعبة. فقال أبي رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله يا علي والذي بعثني بالحق نبيا واصطفاني بالرسالة نذيرا ما ذكر خبرنا هذا في محفل من محافل أهل الأرض وفيه جمع من شيعتنا ومحبينا وفيه محموم إلا وفرج الله هما ولا مغموم إلا وكشف الله غمه ولا طالب حاجة إلا وقضى الله حاجته. فقال علي عليه السلام إذا والله خذنا وسويدنا وكذلك شيعتنا فازوا وسويدوا في الدنيا والآخرة ورب الكعبة. اللهم صل على हाँ जी अस्सलाम वालेकुम। मैं यहाँ ज़ैनबिया में हूँ। आज जो ईद ईद ज़हरा है ना। जी हाँ जी हाँ। चलो सही है। ओके खुदा हाफिज़। अपने जनाब क्या नाम है, चलिए शुरू कर देता हूँ। सलवात पढ़िए। आप सबको मेरी तरफ से ईद ज़हरा बहुत बहुत मुबारक हो। तो निजामत करने वाले आए नहीं, शुरू कर देते हैं। अच्छा लगता नहीं। मेरे पास है, अगर कुछ चाहिए आपको। हम्म सलवात पढ़िए। अल्लाहुम्मा सल्ली अला मुहम्मद व आले मुहम्मद। बराए खुशनुदी इमाम ज़माना बुलंद तर सलावत। जो सुए न जब न देखे वो नजर नहीं है। जो सुए न जब न देखे वो नजर नहीं है। जो तुम्हें न जब न देखे वो नजर नजर नहीं है, जो अली से बेखबर है उसे कुछ खबर नहीं है, जो अली से बेखबर है उसे कुछ खबर नहीं है। मैं समझ सकूं अली को तो रसूल न जान। मैं समझ सकूं अली को तो रसूल बन न जान। बस और इससे आगे मुझे कुछ खबर नहीं है। बस और इससे आगे मुझे कुछ खबर नहीं है। न ठहर उरूज खस्ता, ये है करबला का रास्ता। न ठहर उरूज खस्ता, ये है करबला का रास्ता। तेरे पाँव सर हुए हैं, तेरे पास सर नहीं है। तेरे पाँव चल हुए हैं, तेरे पास सर नहीं है। जो सुए नजर न देखे वो नजर नजर नहीं है। कल बात पढ़िए। बराए खुशनूदी इमाम ज़माना बुलंद तर सलावत। कहाँ से लाएगी दुनिया हुसैन के जैसा। कहाँ से लाएगी दुनिया हुसैन के जैसा। फकत हुसैन मिलेगा, हुसैन के जैसा। कहाँ से लाएगी दुनिया हुसैन के जैसा। इबादतों का तो जारी है सिलसिलाब तक। इबादतों का तो जारी है सिलसिलाब तक। नमाज को नमाजी नहीं मिला अब तक, करे जो खाक पे सजदा हुसैन के जैसा। कहाँ से लाएगी दुनिया हुसैन के जैसा। खुदा भी नाद करे फख्र आलमीन बने। खुदा भी नाद करे फख्र आलमीन बने। है उस रसूल का हक शाहे मुरसलीन बने। है जिस नबी का नवाता हुसैन के जैसा कहाँ से लाएगी दुनिया, हुसैन के जैसा दिलेर मान रही है शुजातें तुमको, दिलेर मान रही है शुजातें तुमको, सलाम करती है असगर शहादतें तुमको, है 6 महीने में जज्बा हुसैन के जैसा कहाँ से लाएगी दुनिया, हुसैन के जैसा। शिकस्त किसकी है मैदान में फैसला कर ले, शिकस्त किसकी है मैदान में फैसला कर ले, दलील छोड़ दे आजा मुबाहिला कर ले, है तेरे पास तो ले आ हुसैन के जैसा कहाँ से लाएगी दुनिया, हुसैन के जैसा। नुसैरियों से कहो छोड़ दे बसिद होना, नुसैरियों से कहो छोड़ दे बसिद होना, कबूल कैसे करेगा वो लमिया लिद होना, जिसे नसीब हो बेटा हुसैन के जैसा, कहाँ से लाएगी दुनिया, हुसैन के जैसा। खुदा ही जाने के अब्बास क्या है शान तेरी, खुदा ही जाने के अब्बास क्या है शान तेरी, ये मंजिलत ये सादत किससे नसीब हुई, तुझे समझती है ज़हरा हुसैन के जैसा, कहाँ से लाएगी दुनिया, हुसैन के जैसा। सिखा गई है ज़माने को सानिए ज़हरा, सिखा गई है ज़माने को सानिए ज़हरा, यही अकीदा है मुख्तार और तकल्लुम का, कहाँ है बिर्द कोयला हुसैन के जैसा, कहाँ से लाएगी दुनिया, हुसैन के जैसा। सलवात पढ़िए, अल्लाहुम्मा सल्ली अला मुहम्मद मुहम्मद। अभी और इंतजार आ गए।
मोमिनीन किराम अस्सलामु अलैकुम। सबसे पहले मैं आप तमाम ही मोमिनीन को ईद ज़हरा की और ताजपोशी इमाम ज़माना की दिली मुबारकबाद पेश करता हूँ। यकीनन ये पूरा अरसा और पिछले साल से लेकर के और अब इस साल तक हमारे आले भाई ने जिस तरीके से मेहनत की और हमारे शमीम भाई और जाफ़र भाई यकीनन कंटिन्यू हर प्रोग्राम के अंदर बहुत ही जिम्मेदारी के साथ में शिरकत की। हमारी तरफ से तो थोड़ी कोताही रही, लेकिन जाफ़र भाई ने और स्पेशली हमारे डॉक्टर साहब ने बहुत ही अच्छी तरीके से ये जिम्मेदारी निभाई। मैं परवरदिगार आलम से दुआ गो हूँ कि परवरदिगार इन सब लोगों को अपनी हिफ्ज़-ओ-अमान में रखे और तमाम ही मोमिनीन को परवरदिगार हर परेशानी और हर बला से महफूज रखे। और हमें अब एक अल्लाह ने चाहा तो अब सारा नॉर्मल हो गया है। मैं तमाम ही मोमिनीन से दस्तबस्ता ये गुजारिश करूँगा कि वो अज़ा खाने में और इमाम बारगाह में आने की कोशिश करें। हत्तुल इम्कान अपने बच्चों के साथ में लेकर के अज़ा खाने में ज़रूर आएँ, ताकि ये बहुत ज़रूरी है, क्योंकि बच्चों को स्पेशली हमें ट्रेन करना है और बच्चों को दिलचस्पी ताकि ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा बच्चों के अंदर पैदा हो। और कोशिश ये करें कि बच्चों को मनक़बत या किसी भी तरीके से नौख़वानी या तकरीर या जो भी स्पीच वो बच्चे देना चाहते हैं, वो कोशिश करें कि अपने बच्चों को ट्रेन करें और वो यहाँ पर आकर के अपने बच्चों को कोशिश करें कि वो यहाँ पर कुछ ना कुछ पढ़ें ज़रूर। एक बार सलावत भेजिए आप तमाम ही हज़रात में। चार में से एक मनक़बत के चंद अशार पेश कर रहा हूँ, बतौर ख़ास समाअत फरमाइएगा जहाँ जहाँ हज़रात मौजूद हैं। कि जुल्म के रुख पे खौफ तारी है, जुल्म के रुख पे खौफ तारी है, और कट गया सर बयान जारी है, कट गया सर बयान जारी है, जुल्म के रुख पे खौफ तारी है, और सब्र से जुल्म का तकाबुल क्या, सब्र से जुल्म का तकाबुल क्या, एक शहंशाह एक भिखारी है, एक शहंशाह एक भिखारी है, जुल्म के रुख पे खौफ तारी है, और शह के दुश्मन पा भेज नालानत, शह के दुश्मन पा भेज नालानत, हर हुसैनी की जिम्मेदारी है, हर हुसैनी की जिम्मेदारी है, कि शह के दुश्मन पे भेज नालानत, हर हुसैनी की जिम्मेदारी है, और जुल्म की नहर कब की सूख चुकी, जुल्म की नहर कब की सूख चुकी, आंसुओं की फुरात जारी है, आंसुओं की फुरात जारी है। और लाश बेयत उठा के ले जाओ, लाश बेयत उठा के ले जाओ, ये हमारी नहीं तुम्हारी है, ये हमारी नहीं तुम्हारी है। और दफन करना इसे सकीफा में, दफन करना इसे यजीद के घर, करबला की जमीन हमारी है, करबला की के दफन करना इसे यजीद के घर, करबला की जमीन हमारी है। जुल्म के रुख पा खौफ तारी है। सलवात पर मोहम्मद वाले। शमी भाई इजाजत। ये भी चीजें जरूरी हैं, साथ साथ हम लोगों की बहुत ज्यादा हिम्मत अफजाई होती है इस चीज की। बहुत ही खूबसूरत सा एक कलाम और आप हज़रात की खिदमत में पेश कर रहा हूँ शहजादी कौनैन के हवाले से कि हर एक ज़मीं हर एक ज़माना बतूल का, हर एक ज़मीं हर एक ज़माना बतूल का, हर एक ज़मीं हर एक ज़माना बतूल का, ये सारी कायनात है सदका बतूल का, ये सारी कायनात है सदका बतूल का। और तत्हीर की ये हद है कि कौसर से धो के हाथ, तत्हीर की ये हद है कि कौसर से धो के हाथ, जिब्रील ने झुलाया है झूला बतूल का, जिब्रील ने झुलाया है झूला बतूल का। सलावत भेजिएगा आप हज़रात। और शेर देखिएगा, बतौर खास पेश कर रहा हूं कि यूं ही नहीं गए थे मोहम्मद खुदा के पास, यूं ही नहीं गए थे मोहम्मद खुदा के पास, सिदरा से लेके आना था तोहफा बतूल का, सिदरा से लेके आना था तोहफा बतूल का। और कितने घरों में होता रहा रत जगा मगर, कितने घरों में होता रहा रत जगा मगर, उतरा अली के दर पही रिश्ता बतूल का, उतरा अली के दर पाही रिश्ता बतूल का। और शेरे खुदा की जाए विलादत है इसलिए, शेरे खुदा की जाए विलादत है इसलिए, ससुराल है ये खाना है काबा बतूल का, ससुराल है ये खाना है काबा बतूल का। और कुर्ता सिए न फातिमा क्यों अपने हाथ से, कुर्ता सिए न फातिमा क्यों अपने हाथ से, अब्बास बावफा भी है बेटा बतूल का, अब्बास बावफा भी है बेटा बतूल का। और मैं क्या मेरे हुरूफ की औकात क्या हसन, मैं क्या मेरे हुरूफ की औकात क्या हसन, अल्लाह पढ़ रहा है कसीदा बतूल का, अल्लाह पढ़ रहा है कसीदा बतूल का। हर एक ज़मीन हर एक सलावत मोहम्मद वाले मोहम्मद।
क्या कह रहे हैं यार, आप आपके बाद क्या पढ़ रही हूँ। आउज़ुबिल्लाहि मिनश्शैतानिर्रजीम, बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम। बारगाह फातिमा ज़हरा और वक्त इमाम को मुबारकबाद पेश करने के लिए जमा हुए हैं। ईद ज़हरा की परवरदिगार इस खलील की इबादत को कबूल फरमा ले कुर्बतन इल्लल्लाह। और आज इस खुशी के मौके पे तमाम जितने भी मरूमीन मोमिनात हैं उनको अपने साथ इसमें शामिल करने के लिए आपके अजीज़ और तमाम मरूमीन जो हमारे यादगारी बोर्ड पे हैं और हमारे बोर्ड के मरूमीन नकवी साहब, हिमायत साहब और सज्जाद भाई की हमशीरा और जितने भी हमारे आगा साहब और जितने भी मरूमीन गुजरे हैं उन सब को भी शामिल कर लीजिए और अपने मरूमीन को भी शामिल कर लिए तो वो भी इसमें शामिल हो जाएंगे। जनाब आबाद नकवी साहब के कलाम के चंद मिसरे, उसके बाद इंशाल्लाह मनकबत। इससे पहले के हमारे आले भाई मुझे देखने लगे। आज तो हंसने का दिन है तो थोड़ा सा तो हंस लेना चाहिए। दुरूद भेजिए मोहम्मद वाले सल्ले अल्लाह। ये मकाम इल्म है शेख जी, यहाँ जाहिलों का गुजर नहीं। ये मकाम इल्म है शेख जी, यहाँ जाहिलों का गुजर नहीं। कोई तुमसे पूछे तो क्या भला, तुम्हें अपनी खुद खबर नहीं। और ये नबी ने गदीर में मेरे बाद मौला है ये अली। ये ज़लालतों की है इंतहा, कोई तुम पे का सर नहीं। थोड़ा दे दिया मोहम्मद वाले मोहम्मद पे। हर एक हाल में शजरा जरूर बोलेगा। हर एक हाल में शजरा जरूर बोलेगा। जो खुश नसब है तबर्रा जरूर बोलेगा। जो खुश नसब है तबर्रा जरूर बेशुमार। और कोई भी बोले ना बोले मगर खुदा की कसम। अरे कोई भी बोले ना बोले मगर खुदा की कसम। अली के बारे में काबा जरूर बोलेगा। नारे हैदरी। अली के बारे में काबा जरूर बोलेगा। और निफाक छुप नहीं सकता कभी छुपाने से। निफाक छुप नहीं सकता कभी छुपाने से। हो लब खामोश तो चेहरा जरूर बोलेगा। वो लब खामोश तो चेहरा जरूर बोलेगा। ये और बात है सजदे ना बोल पाएंगे। ये और बात है सजदे ना बोल पाएंगे। मगर ये इश्क का कतरा जरूर बोलेगा, मगर ये इश्क का कतरा जरूर बोलेगा। और ज़बान काटने वाले तुझे खबर भी है। शेर मज़ा पड़ेगा। अरे ज़बान काटने वाले तुझे खबर भी है, अली के इश्क का जज्बा जरूर बोलेगा, अली के इश्क का जज्बा जरूर बोलेगा। पर तू अपने ऐब छुपाला कि दुश्मने शाबी, तू अपने ऐब छुपाला कि दुश्मने शाबी, बुरे अमल का नतीजा जरूर बोलेगा, बुरे अमल का नतीजा जरूर बोलेगा। और ये शेर तमाम मोमिन मोमिनात के लिए जिन्होंने 2-2.5 महीने मुसलसल जनाब सैयदा के बारगाह में अपनी काविशें पेश की हैं। परवरदिगार से कबूल फरमाए, उनकी नजर कर रहा हूँ। और कहीं भी बात जो आए ज़हरा की, कहीं भी बात जो आए ज़हरा की, तो अली का चाहने वाला जरूर बोलेगा। यार बड़ा कुछ तुझे भी फातिमा तो ज़हरा बुलंद तर सलावत। तो अली का चाहने वाला जरूर बोलेगा। और ये तमाम बीमारों के लिए परवरदिगार ने शफा अता फरमाए। जो जो बीमार है, खुसूसन हारी आंटी की आज सर्जरी है और परवरदिगार उन्हें भी शफा अता फरमाए। बहुत लंबी सर्जरी है, इस वक्त भी हॉस्पिटल में। तो ये शेर उनकी नजर कर रहा हूँ। अरे मुझे हुसैन के बीमार ने शिफा दी है, मुझे हुसैन के बीमार ने शिफा दी है। ये हर सदी का मसीहा जरूर बोलेगा, ये हर सदी का मसीहा जरूर बोलेगा। और बवक्त पुरसिशे वाल रोज़े हश्र विक़ार, बवक्त पुरसिशे वाल रोज़े हश्र विक़ार, मेरे लिए मेरा मौला जरूर बोलेगा, मेरे लिए मेरा मौला जरूर बोले। और कोई भी बोले न बोले मगर खुदा की कसम, अली के बारे में काबा जरूर वो बोलेगा, हर एक हाल में शजरा जरूर बोलेगा, जो कुछ नसब है तवर्रा जरूर बोलेगा। हुसैनियत हुसैनियत हुसैनियत, यजीदियत यजीदियत यजीदियत, नारे हैदरी। बहुत
तो सलामती के लिए सलवात पढ़िए। मोहम्मद वाले मोहम्मद सल्लल्लाहु।
एक मरतबा और दुरूद की ज़हमत फरमाइएगा। इस कदर खूबसूरत मनक़बत हमने सुनी अलीम अकबर साहब से और शमीम साहब से, तो अब मसला ये है कि मुझे लग रहा है ये कि जी लग ये रहा है कि ये शर्टों का कमाल है। मेरे पास काली कि मेरे पास काली शर्ट थी और इन दोनों ने सुर्ख पहनी हुई थी, तो अब बर्दाश्त तो करना ही पड़ेगा। तो एक मरतबा आप दुरूद पढ़िए मोहम्मद वाले मोहम्मद पे। डॉक्टर साहब शमीम को घूर के देखते रहे कि शमीम ने इग्नोर किया। डॉक्टर साहब मेरी नजर कमजोर है, तो अगर आप घूर के देखो तो बता दीजिएगा मैं घूर रहा हूँ। आज उन्होंने कहा अच्छा जी जी जी। शमीम भाई की सबसे बड़ी खुसूसियत ये रही है कि गुज़िश्ता दिनों जब अबू ज़र बीमार थे तो माशाल्लाह उन्होंने हमारे हर इमाम बारगाह में संभाला और फिल इन द ब्लैंक जो है बड़ी खूबसूरती से किया। अल्लाह ताला इनकी दुआ फरमाए कि अल्लाह ताला इनकी तमाम शरई हाजात पूरी करे। शरई मैंने इसलिए किया कि बाकी सारी हाजतें पूरी हो चुकी हैं। एक बार तो आप दुरूद पढ़ दिए मोहम्मद वाले मोहम्मद। जी हस्ती नहीं है आगा इजाजत। करार भाई माशाल्लाह सेहतमंद है। ये हमारे लिए दुआ करते हैं, हम उनके लिए। किनकी? नहीं, अनीस भाई तो आरिफ इमाम बन रहे। कुछ दिनों में अगर ये मरसिया पढ़ने लगे तो जी। सबसे ज्यादा खुशी है मुर्तजा भाई को देख के है। अल्लाह ताला दिल से दुआ निकलती है कि अल्लाह ताला इनको सेहत कामला अता फरमाए और एक दिन ये उसी तरह अपनी जिम्मेदारियां इमाम बारगाह के लिए निभाएं जो पहले ना। ये पैसे मांगते थे हमने कभी नहीं दिए। जी जी नहीं, मैंने बता दिया कि हमारा ख्याल रखिएगा। तो इसमें जो लोग हंस रहे हैं ना, मुर्तजा सब बता रहा है, सब यही थे। मोहम्मद एक मतलब दूध पड़ दिया मोहम्मद वाले मोहम्मद पे। एक आपको पुरानी मनक़बत के कुछ शेर सुना देता हूँ और एक कुछ ताजा कि आपके चेहरों पे मुस्कुराहटें तो आई गई हैं, ईद तो हो ही गई। एक मतलब दूध पड़ दिया मोहम्मद वाले। खिलाओगे कहां से कोई हैदर के बराबर, लाओगे कहां से कोई हैदर के बराबर, कतरा कहीं होता है समंदर के बराबर, लाओगे कहां से कोई हैदर के बराबर, कतरा कहीं होता है समंदर के बराबर, और मानेंगे दिलो जान से उसे दुख्तरे अहमद। ईद ज़हरा मानेंगे दिलो जान से उसे दुख्तरे अहमद, क्योंकि 4 बेटियों का और 1 बेटी का कॉन्फ्लिक्ट चल रहा है, उसके हवाले से शेर भी है, मसला भी शेर हल कर देगा कि जानेंगे मानेंगे दिलो जान से उसे दुख्तरे अहमद, मानेंगे दिलो जान से उसे दुख्तरे अहमद। अरे कामत हो मगर सूरह कौसर के बराबर, मानेंगे दिलो जान से उसे दुख्तरे अहमद। कामत हो मगर सूरह कौसर के बराबर, मानेंगे दिलो जान से उसे दुख्तरे अहमद। अरे कामत हो मगर सूरह कौसर के बराबर, और जो लोग समझते हैं बशर अहले किस्सा को, जो लोग समझते हैं बशर अहले किस्सा को, अरे लाएं तो कोई बिनते पैगंबर के बराबर, लाएं तो कोई बिनते पैगंबर के बराबर। और ये वस्फ फकत खाने ज़हरा में मिलेगा। ज़हरा ये वस्फ फकत खाने ज़हरा में मिलेगा, असगर भी यहाँ होता है अकबर के बराबर। ये वस्फ फकत खाने ज़हरा में मिलेगा, असगर यहाँ होता है, असगर भी यहाँ होता है अकबर के बराबर। मानेंगे दिलो जान से उसे दुख्तरे अहमद, मानेंगे दिलो जान से उसे दुख्तरे अहमद। कामत हो मगर सूरह कौसर के बराबर। एक मतलब दूध पढ़ जी मोहम्मद वाले मोहम्मद। एक ताजा मनकबत की आपको चाह रहा था कुछ शेर सुनाऊं।
इमाम ज़माना बुलंदतर सल्लल्लाहु।
एक बार दवा दुरूद पढ़ दीजिए मोहम्मद वाले मोहम्मद। 3-4 शेर और कि दस्ते मासूम से अल्लाह का घर बनता है। जनाब इब्राहिम, दस्ते मासूम से अल्लाह का घर बनता है, और जब वली आए तो दीवार में दर बनता है। दस्ते मासूम से अल्लाह का घर बनता है, जब वली आए तो दीवार में दर बनता है। और इसलिए जर है हमारे लिए हुब्बे हैदर, इसलिए जर है हमारे लिए हुब्बे हैदर। जिसको जर कह दें अबू जर वही जर बनता है। इसलिए जर है हमारे लिए हुब्बे हैदर। जिसको जर कह दें अबू जर वही जर बनता है। और जिसमें असगर सा जरी हो वही घर है आला, जिसमें असगर सा जरी हो वही घर है आला। जिसमें रहती हो सकीना वही घर बनता है, जिसमें असगर सा जरी हो वही घर है आला। जिसमें रहती हो सकीना वही घर बनता है। और कैसे लिख दूं मैं भला ज़रबते हैदर के कमाल, कैसे लिख दूं मैं भला ज़रबते हैदर के कमाल। अरे जब भी लिखता हूं तो जिब्रील का पर बनता है, जब भी लिखता हूं तो जिब्रील का पर बनता है। और शायरी में ये अकीदा है हमारा नकाश, शायरी में ये अकीदा है हमारा नकाश। इसमें शब्बीर अगर हो तो हुनर बनता है, शायरी में ये अकीदा है हमारा नकाश। इसमें शब्बीर अगर हो तो हुनर बनता है। दस्ते मासूम से अल्लाह का घर बनता है, जब वली आए तो दीवार में दर बनता है। बर मोहम्मद व आले मोहम्मद बुलंद सलावत।
बर मोहम्मद व आले मोहम्मद सलावत। आप सबको ईद ज़हरा मुबारक हो। मैं जिसारत थोड़ी सी करूंगा। माशाल्लाह मेरे बड़े शमीम अंकल, वसी, जाफर भाई सब पढ़ के गए हैं और भाईजान यहाँ पे बैठे हैं। एक दरूद पढ़ दीजिए। मैं हमेशा मौला अली की एक मनकबत तो नहीं, एक शेर ही है सिप्त हसन साहब का, सिप्त जाफर साहब का, वो मैं पढ़ा करता हूँ। उसके साथ और उसके फिर एक साथ 4 इशार होंगे जो मैं पेश करूंगा। ऐन से इबादत का सरंजाम हुआ, ऐन से इबादत का सरंजाम हुआ। लाम वो लाम के जिस लाम से इस्लाम हुआ। लाम वो लाम के जिस लाम से इस्लाम हुआ। ये से याबर हुआ मुश्किल में हर एक बंदे की। ये से याबर हुए मुश्किल में हर एक बंदे की। सदके इस नाम के क्या खूब अली नाम हुआ। ऐन से ऐन दरूद पढ़ दीजिए। मौला हुसैन की शान के अंदर सिर्फ 4 बंद है जो मैं पेश करूंगा। के बन गया दीन की बका दामन, बन गया दीन की बका दामन। किसका दामन हुसैन का दामन, के बन गया दीन की बका दामन। किसका दामन हुसैन का दामन। जी के दर पे ज़हरा के बट रही थी भी, दर पे ज़हरा के बट रही थी भी। मैंने अपना भी भर लिया दाम, किसका दाम हुसैन का दामन। के लेके अब्बास का अलम गुजरा, लेके अब्बास का अलम गुजरा। आग छूना सकी मेरा दामन, किसका दामन, हुसैन का दामन। मौला अली के अलैहिस्सलाम के दुश्मनान के ऊपर एक शेर अर्ज किया है जो शायर ने लिखा है माशाल्लाह। इसका दिलचस्प आपको हर चीज मिल जाएगी, दुश्मनान अली के, मुनकरान अली के जो चेहरों से साफ जाहिर वाज़ेह होता है, सब मिल जाएगा कि दुश्मनान अली से मिलकर भी, कि दुश्मनान अली से मिलकर भी मैंने अपना बचा लिया दामन, किसका दामन, हुसैन का दामन। और आखिरी शेर, गैर के दर पे तू गया होगा, गैर के दर पे तू गया होगा, चाक है जा बजा तेरा दामन, किसका दामन, हुसैन का दामन। पर मोहम्मद व आले मोहम्मद सल्लल्लाहु
सबसे पहले रिक्वेस्ट है सूरह फातिहा की शामिल करने हमारे जाबियाई बोर्ड का नाम है, मज़दूरी के शुरा के और इंसानियत ने आज का प्रोग्राम स्पॉन्सर किया है, उनके मज़मीन के नाम सूरह फातिहा। करने की नेक्स्ट प्रोग्राम जो है 16 लेवल को होगा, सैटरडे को होगा 23 अक्टूबर को। नेक्स्ट प्रोग्राम 23 अक्टूबर 16 अक्टूबर। इलेक्शन जो बोर्ड ऑफ डायरेक्टर्स थे उसमें टीम में इस मंथ अवेलेबल में, तो नेक्स्ट मंथ नवंबर 12 को, फ्राइडे नवंबर 12 को बोर्ड के इलेक्शन होंगे। बोर्ड है, इसकी पेपर नॉमिनेशन की डेडलाइन नवंबर 2 है by 5 PM। तो सैटरडे नवंबर 2 by 5 PM submit your papers for nomination. That's all by that. I would like to thank you first of all everyone जो खास तौर पे टीम है जिसने ऑलमोस्ट लाइक 2 साल ऑनलाइन काम किया। सलीम भाई ने जिस तरह जिक्र किया कि बहुत सारे लोगों की डेडिकेशन है इसमें, उनके खुद की है। आई अंडरस्टैंड कि कितनी गोलियां होती हैं, लेकिन आई रियली अप्रिशिएट कि तमाम लोग, चाहे जाकर भाई हों, शमीर भाई हों, शरीफ भाई हों, डॉक्टर साहब हों, नजर साहब हों, तो तमाम लोगों की काविशें हैं। सलमान खान तमाम लोग इसमें लेडीज में शामिल थी, शहरी शामिल थी, दूसरे लोग थे, और भाई तमाम लिस्ट जो सामने नजर आते हैं। बच्ची भाई को आई होप इनकी मसरूफियात है, आई एम सो ग्लैड कि मैनेज टू कम टुडे अपनी मसरूफियात में से। तो सबने अपना अपना टाइम दिया जो दे सकता है। सब I appreciate all of those and really thank you on behalf of the ZIS काफी प्यार से बहुत टाइम दिया, बहुत ऐसा था वो 2 साल ऑनलाइन प्रोग्राम में और really appreciate board members आपका भाई और साथ थैंक यू वेरी मच तमाम की सलामती के लिए एक बार बुलंद सलावत मैं बोल नहीं सकता हूँ वो तो बिगनर्स है और वो लास्ट में वही खेलते हैं तो ओपनिंग में करते हैं लास्ट में खेलते हैं तो उनको नहीं बोल सकते हैं तो जैसा वो सब पढ़ रहे थे जावा भाई पढ़ रहे थे सलीम भाई ने पढ़ा फिर नसीम भाई ने पढ़ा तो आते आते तो वो कहते क्या मैं क्या पढ़ूंगा जिससे पहले इतना अच्छा पढ़ लिया गया तो मैं क्या पढ़ूंगा थैंक यू वेरी मच तो वही मैं सोच रहा था मैंने कहा मैं आऊंगा तो मैं क्या पढ़ूंगा फिर हमने अच्छा पढ़ लिया तो मेरे पास क्या बचा है तो जब वसी भाई पढ़ रहे थे तो मेरे पास टेक्स्ट आया टेक्स्ट में देखा इरफान का तो सबने कहा था कि मैं क्या पढ़ूँ तो अच्छा पढ़ लिया तो इरफान ने कहा क्या मैं पढ़ सकता हूँ मैंने कहा बिस्मिल्लाह तो फिर मैं टेक्स्ट अपना देखता रहा मैंने कहा कि अली भाई की तरफ से कोई टेक्स्ट ना आ जाए क्योंकि वसी भाई ने कहा कि वो आए तो कलाम शायद पढ़ना शुरू कर रहे हैं तो अली भाई अभी तक कोई टेक्स्ट आया नहीं तो अगले प्रोग्राम में देखेंगे इंशाल्लाह इंशाल्लाह चल मैं आपकी बुलंद सलावत के साथ शेख अहमद मोदर्रेस से
محمد وآل محمد صلوات إمام زمانة بلندر الصلوات
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Unfortunately, although we are celebrating this important occasion, unfortunately today was a sad day for the Shias of Ahlul Bayt. There was a terrorist attack in Kandahar, Afghanistan. More than 50 people were martyred today. One of the people who was martyred was my wife's uncle, and inshallah keep all the shuhada. Inshallah also the shuhada who were martyred last week in Qunduz. There was also a Shia mosque in Qunduz, Afghanistan, who were martyred. Let's inshallah remember all of them with the Surah Fatiha and Salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un wa ala la'natullahi ala al-qawm al-zalimin wa sayalamu alladhina zalamu ayya munqalabin yanqalibun. May Allah inshallah make them the companion of Imam Askari alayhi salam who were there martyred at the day of his shahada, and with their master Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam with the salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. الحمد لله الذي جعل الحمد مفتاحا لذكره وسببا للمزيد من فضله ودليلا على آلائه وعظمته. ثم الصلاة والسلام على خير خلقه وحبيبه العبد المؤيد والرسول المصدد المصطفى الأمجد أبو القاسم المصطفى محمد. وعلى أهل بيت الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المكرمين الهداة المهديين سيما بقية الله في السماوات والأراضين واللعن الدائم على أعدائهم أعداء الله أجمعين من الآن إلى لقاء يوم الدين. قال الله تبارك وتعالى في القرآن الكريم: قل الله يهدي للحق قل الله يهدي للحق أفمن يهدي إلى الحق أحق أن يتبع أمن لا يهدي إلا أن يهدى فما لكم كيف تحكمون آمنا بالله صدق الله العلي العظيم. For the honor of Amir al-Mu'min Ali alayhi salam and the Imams of Ahlul Bayt, salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. The only thing that these kind of tragedies proves is the love of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam always had a price. And it is somehow, it's kind of distant that for the lovers of Ahlul Bayt who truly are connected with the Prophet is to visit their Lord when they are covered in their blood. And the Shias of Abu Abdullah learned from him that we're not scared of that. We're not afraid of that, to meet our Creator, even if that means to visit our Creator, to be drenched in our own blood, because our Master Sayyid al-Shuhada alayhi salam taught us that lesson. And may Allah give patience to their families, all the victims around the world, as you know, in Pakistan, Afghanistan, in Yemen, in Bahrain. Many regions we see the bloods of the followers and the lovers of Ahlul Bayt is being shed. And of course, there's not that much outcry, there's not that much reaction, which it doesn't matter. I don't mind people not showing reaction to that, because one thing for sure, we know that the truth and haqq is not being celebrated by batil, by the falsehood. This is the nature of it. When Imam Hussein was martyred, people of Sham, they did not commemorate, they did not lament. That is the nature of it. That's for the master of the youth of paradise. So if we see a follower of Imam Hussein is not his name or their names is not mentioned in a news channel, who don't believe in anything related to the Prophet and to his family, I'm not that surprised or shocked. But as a follower of Ahlul Bayt, we share their grief and the sadness of their families. And of course, our voice for all the oppressed, all the Mazloom, regardless if they're Shia or not. We, inshallah, make sure that we will be the one who resist and raise our voice for the sake of the Mazloom. And we pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that we'll be worthy in the cause of Sayyid al-Shuhada alayhi salam and Ahlul Bayt. And inshallah, our life is worthy to be sacrificed for that cause, inshallah. But we're celebrating tonight a celebration that has multiple historical significance. But before that, because today, 8th of Rabiul Awwal, was the Shahadat of our 11th Imam alayhi salam. And the tradition is during the daytime, we commemorate the Shahadat of our 11th Imam, and after Maghrib is a celebration time. But because he's the father of the Imam of our time, just maybe for a few minutes, I would like to mention a few words about his life, and then inshallah we go to celebrating the beginning of the Imamat of our 12th Imam, which is truly the most significance for us, because he is the living Imam, he is the living divine Hujjat of Allah for all of us. And يَوْمَ نَدْعُ كُلَّ أُنَاسٍ بِإِمَامِهِمْ, the day of judgment, Allah said, all people will be called with their Imam. Inshallah, we pray that we are called with the Imam of our time, Hazrat Hujjat Ajalallah Ta'ala Fajr Sharif, inshallah. One thing that is similar in regard of Ahlul Bayt, when Imam Askari Islam life also is an indication of that, is the amount of pressure the Shias lived during the time of our 11th Imam. And from our 9th Imam onwards, so our 9th, 10th, and 11th Imam, they lived under constant surveillance by the enemies, the Abbasi caliphs at the time. Our 9th Imam, his own wife was a spy in the house, and eventually she is the killer, and she is the assassin of the Imam alayhi salam, the daughter of Ma'mun, a marriage that was not by choice to Imam Jawad alayhi salam. Our 10th Imam and 11th Imam, they're known as Askariyain. There are 2 Imams that they live in an army camp. So Askar in an Arabic language refers to a place that is especially made for an army. It's a place that you keep them ready, it's a place that they are usually residing. And the title Askariyain, which means 2 Askari, is due to fact that they live under that kind of environment. And on Monday and Thursday, twice a week, our 11th Imam has to go and announce his presence in the army camp. So like somebody who's exiled or is somehow they're being released with a condition, Imam must come twice a week to make sure I'm here. I did not leave the camp. And this is a time that our 11th Imam is living not only with that, because people have no access to Imam, is a very limited access. And there are spies literally writing every word that Imam is talking to the few people who come to visit him. On the top of that, Abbasis are now preparing for the coming of the Imam Ajjallahu Ta'ala Fajr Sharif, because they're familiar with the hadith of the 12th Imam, the savior, the one who will bring an end to all injustice and tyranny, the same way Fir'aun was killing all the unborn infants and children because he was afraid of that child who will be Nabi Musa alayhi salam, who will bring an end to his reign and tyranny. Abbasi caliphs from our 10th Imam, starting for the Imam al-Hadi, they're looking for this child, when this child will be born, and if it is born, if he is born, then there's going to be a plan to get the child, and of course the plan is to destroy and kill the Imam alayhi salam. That's why the pregnancy of the Imam, our 12th Imam, was not a usual or normal pregnancy, that people did not see any sign of pregnancy in Hazrat Nargis Khatun alayhi salam. And everybody around, again, it's not that everybody around could be trusted. There was a lot of eyes, there's a lot of spies, even those who visit to the house of the Imam alayhi salam. So during that time, Imam Askari alayhi salam did a few important accomplishments. These are the objectives of our 11th Imam. The first one, he makes sure that people know the coming of the Imam. So there are traditions by our 11th Imam to specific companions, to trustworthy companions, regarding the birth of a 12th Imam. As you can even see right now, there are people who are skeptics and those who bring this objection that, oh, there is no 12th Imam, he was not born. And they try to undermine it. So Imam alayhi salam tried to provide enough credible resources that we know that the Imam was born during the time of Imam Askari alayhi salam, including showing Imam Mehdi to those reliable and trustworthy companions. And there are hadiths narrated by them. So that's one. And I don't have time to go over all the tradition, but that is a very important task. So how you can balance it. From one side, you don't want the enemy to know about this child, because if they know similar story that happened to children in the time of Musa alayhi salam will happen to this child. They will destroy this child because they consider him a threat. And at the same time, you don't want the Shias to be misguided either, to think that Imamat was abandoned and there is no Imam either. So how Imam did it, that's the role of the Imam, to make sure that the message is going to be delivered. And today, we have the Shia Ithna Ashari, 12-verse Shias, who believe in the Imam over time, is because of that sacrifice and the hard work of all of the Imams of Ahlul Bayt, especially 11th Imam, who make sure that people and the Shias know about the existence of the Imam of our time. The second objective of the Imam was to make sure people recognize trustworthy representative, wakil or wakala. So these are the ones that Imam alayhi salam had as a point of contact with people. So this concept, by the way, started from Imam Sadiq alayhi salam, that people go to the wakil, go to representative, and they can communicate with the Imam through them. And it continued in the time of Imam Musa al-Ja'far because he was in prison most of the time. Imam Rida alayhi salam, because he was under surveillance of Ma'mun in Khurasan, so he had a representative in Medina and other areas. And our 9th and 10th Imam similarly. So they had wukala. But one thing which we can learn from that is that not all these wakil, they end up basically having a good fate ultimately, because they started very good. Some of them were trustworthy at the beginning, but eventually at part of their lives, some of them, they turn out to be deviated. They lost guidance. They become misguided. One of them is Ahmad ibn Hilal, is a representative and wakil of Imam Askari alayhi salam. Imam trusted him. People will take their homes to him. People will ask a question from him. But it comes to a point that he lost everything and he started believing in the pseudo-Sufism of the time. So Imam Askari alayhi salam denounced him and warned people to stay away from Ahmad ibn Hilal from now on, because now his aqidah, his belief is corrupted. So it's not trustworthy. It's important to know that the Imam and the Prophet, they act according to what is obvious. You know, this is very, very key and important to know. People ask why Imam chose them. Because at the time, he was a trustworthy person. If later on they change, if later on they deviate and they have inhiraf, that's their decision. And this is not just for our 11th Imam. We have the same for our first Imam, Amir al-Mu'min Ali alayhi salam, which he had governors that they turned out to be not worthy. And Imam removed them from the position, fired them from being a governor. And Imam had all these reports coming to him on a daily basis. When he was elected as a Khalifa, his system of government was based on check and balance. That make sure you're not a governor that you can do whatever you want. There are people who bring the reports. They are investigating every governor and they're telling them. One of those people is Abu al-Aswad al-Du'ali. Abu al-Aswad is someone who loves Imam Ali alayhi salam to death. This is someone who paid the price of the love of Imam Ali multiple times. But Imam fired him from his position. And he came to Imam Ali alayhi salam. His concern was not that, I lost a position or the seat. His concern was why my Imam is upset with me. So he came to Imam Ali alayhi salam, Abu al-Aswad, and said, what did I do wrong? Did I disobey you? Did I do anything? Did I, God forbid, steal anything, or did any haqq, kind of undermine any haqq or any due? And Imam alayhi salam said, no, but they told me, this is the report that came to me, that you raised your voice over the voice of the people who are complaining before you. So let's say you're the governor, you're the one in power, you're the judge, you're the ruler. And what happened? Two people have some issue. And يرفع صوتك فوق صوت خصمين, that you raise your voice over their voice. That's why you're not qualified for that position. And imagine if the Muslim Ummah had these kind of servants, public servants. Right now, imagine what kind of services we have. No matter which place we point a finger at, our system of politics is much far, far away from Amir al-Mu'mineen's system of justice. God forbid we have a bit of power, we cannot handle it, right? Everybody have to listen to me. Why are you not listening to me? I'm the one in charge. And Imam alayhi salam fired him. And he agreed, he accepted. That's the beauty of being a Shia. Once you are being told that what was your mistake, you stop being justifying, you stop blaming others, you take it, you own it. And he moved on, and he didn't abandon Imam Ali alayhi salam. He didn't take a step behind to, let Muawiyah or the enemies even say a word against Imam Ali alayhi salam if he is present, if he's there. So there is a life of Imam Askari alayhi salam who made sure that these representatives, are going to be worthy at the time, but they could change. That's why there is no guarantee for anyone. Ahmad ibn Hilal is not an average person. This is a trustworthy wakil of the Imam, but he lost his faith. So God forbid I come to the majlis of Eid-e-Zehra. I come to the majlis of Imam Hussein. And God forbid if my aqeedah and my beliefs start to deviate from the direction that Ahlul Bayt they define for me, then there is misguidance. There is no guarantee. That's why we have that Imam Sadiq alayhi salam, he asked us to do this dua. Because at the time of ghaibat, the occultation that we live in, we have the narration that the misguidance start to grow. It start to worsen and basically get bigger and bigger. And Imam Sadiq said, try to recite this dua and keep in mind that you want this dua to be on daily basis. The dua ghariq. Ghariq means a drowning man. Means every day we're drowning. Without an imam, that's our true status, right? Imagine if somebody's drowning, but they're drunk. As you know, there's some people actually, they drown in areas that there are rivers or there are water. But a drunk person, when they fall in, they don't know what's going on. They drown. But if a person who's, conscious, or let's call them sober, if they fall in, they start to, move their hand around, they start to struggle. The reality is, without the Imam of our time, we are spiritually drowning every day. That's why we say, Allahumma ajjil waliyaka al-faraj. That without his presence, we are missing an important component in our lives. If I'm drunk with dunya and everything, I don't know. I'm drowning, but I'm not even aware I'm drowning. But if I'm awake, if my iman keep me awake and sober, then I know what it means not to have the Imam, to have the ghaibat of the Imam. That's why Imam Ali alayhi salam, he himself says, I wish that I could meet him. Meet who? Imam Mehdi. Ali ibn Abi Talib said, shawqan li ru'yatihim. This is shawq. This is my ultimate eager dream, is to visit these Imam, especially the Imam of our time. So Imam Askari Islam did what it was at the time to the people who were trustworthy, but later on, if they changed the Imam, remove them from that status, from that position. That's a second job. So we have an alim ad-din, a very good alim ad-din. If God forbid that alim ad-din, not based on rumors, not based on suspicion, not based on ghaiba, based on actual evidence that that person doesn't have taqwa. God forbid this alim start to say things that is against the teachings of Quran and Ahlul Bayt, is against the teachings of ulama din that have been teaching for the last 1400 years. Because we have people who somehow we want to be different, and that's to a certain degree it's fine to be, have a fresh perspective. But one thing about religion we should be aware of is that bid'ah and innovation, it's haram. It means you cannot change the principle and the core of faith. So what happened, that it could be sometime that someone in the name of alim, that one who's truly a scholar of religion, they will not abandon the 1400 years of hard work of ulama din who literally put their lives in line. Ulama like, Sayyid Murtaza, Shaheed Awal, when we go study in Hawza, one of the first fiqhi book that we study is Lum'a Damashqiyya. You ask any Maulana in Hawza, they know it. And the one who authored the book, and there is a commentary, Sharh al-Lum'a, there's the commentary on it. The both authors, we know them as Shaheed Awal and Shaheed Sani, because they were both martyred. So these are alim ad-din that for hundreds of years, they're passing this knowledge down to us, not with a simple path and way. They sacrificed their life to make it happen. They were imprisoned because of it. And somebody after 1400 years come and said, by the way, everything you heard is, forget about it. Let me tell you what the religion is about. So this concept, this change is a warning. It's a warning that we should be aware of. Because even the best of people could deviate. I always give the example of Zubayr, because Zubayr is not an average person. He wasn't, you can't even label him with nifaq. You cannot. Zubayr did not have any nifaq at the, because Zubayr is the one when Saqifa happened, when people abandoned Imam Ali alayhi salam. One of the people who did not abandon Imam Ali was Zubayr. Somebody's munafiq and a hypocrite, you go with the winning side. You don't go with the one who is a minority. Zubayr wasn't the way we heard his name in the Battle of Jamal. Zubayr was started 20 years ahead of time. At the time of Rasulullah's departure, is a different Zubayr. That's why Imam Askari made sure elect representative and wakala were trustworthy. But if they change, if they, God forbid, were misguided, then Imam says, stay away from them. And I tell you to do the same thing, and that's every alim ad-din will tell you the same thing. Every alim ad-din who preaches the taqwa, who preaches the teaching of the Rasulullah and his family, Ahlul Bayt, trustworthy. But if somebody come and they put aside taqwa, they put aside virtue, they start acting against Quran, they start acting against Rasulullah's family and Ahlul Bayt tradition, and that person, هَذَا فِرَاقُ بَيْنِي وَبَيْنِهِ. This is the moment that we go our ways. Until that day, you were praising Imam Ali alayhi salam. We are at your khidmat. Now you're taking Imam Ali to a godlike status. You do ghulub. هَذَا فِرَاقُ بَيْنِي وَبَيْنِهِ. Nothing anymore. You cannot sit on this member anymore. We will not listen to you anymore. That's the way it should be, because we're responsible. And Imam alayhi salam made sure to reject those people. And the third objective of Imam Askari alayhi salam, he made sure that people assist one another during the time of pressure. Because during the time, the Shias were a minority, as we are even till this day. So what Imam Askari over and over emphasized on, that Shias, you must back up one another. You must assist one another. That's why this famous tradition from our 11th Imam says, the two actions, there is nothing beyond them, is one, Iman to Allah, Al-Iman Billah. That's the one that there is the top of the list of every deed. And then the second Imam said, Naf'ul Ikhwan, is to benefit and assist your brother Iman. Because when there is pressure, everybody will eventually crack under pressure. That's the nature of hardship. That's why Rasulullah in the hardship needs who by his side? Ali. That's the time that Ali alayhi salam needs a support in hardship, which is Fatimah-uz-Zahra. So even the best of awliya, Allah give him an assistant. Harun alayhi salam is an assistant of Musa. Why Allah sent Harun? Because Musa asked for it. Musa alayhi salam, when Allah told him go to Fir'aun, said, Rabbi shrah li sadri. Okay, Fir'aun is a big deal. This is a tyrant, this is a guy with a lot of power, and you're sending me, I'm a shepherd, you're sending me to him. So number one, Rabbi shrah li sadri. Allah, expand my chest, increase my endurance, my patience, my tolerance. Wa yassir li amri, make this task easy for me. You're capable of it. Don't make this mission a big deal to me. Make it easy for me. Wahlul uqdatan min lisani, open the knot and tie from my tongue. In other words, let me deliver the message the most eloquent way. Give it a straight. Don't let me to be intimidated or say something that is going to not deliver the point. Yafqahu qawli, make him understand what I say. Waj'al li waziran min ahli. This is a part we don't say as much, because we say those first du'as because it's also applicable to our situation. Many lecturers, speakers, they recite it to this point, but the continuation is waj'al li waziran min ahli. Can you make a wazir, an assistant, an advisor from my family with me? Haruna akhi, preferably my brother Harun. Then Allah said, okay, now we give you all that and take Harun with you. So during the hardship, we need assistance. And this is the point that we should know during the whole time of difficulty. Imam Askari Islam, the third objective that he made sure Shias knows is to back up one another. If somebody's in need, you're a minority, don't abandon one another. Don't let somebody feel that they're alone. So these are, inshallah, things that we can also learn from them during our time. That should be what we, inshallah, learn from our 11th Imam in regard of the living Imam, Hazrat Hujjat Ajlallah Ta'ala Fajr Sharif. Because when it comes to the Imam of our time, number one, we need to know, Imam introduce who is the next Imam. So we need to first figure out the necessity of the Imam. As I said, we should be the one who feeling it like a drowning person. And Imam Sadiq said, what should you say? Recite this dua, Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, Ya Muqallib al-Qulub, Thabbit qalbi ala dinik. Memorize it. Very simple dua from Imam Sadiq and recite it on a daily basis. You can recite it in your qunut, you can recite it in your last sajda, you can recite it after salat, you can start your day with it. Simple dua. Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim. O Allah, O the most, you, O entirely merciful, O especially merciful. Ya Muqallib al-Qulub, O the one that you transforms the heart, you change the heart. You're the one that are capable of making our soul better. Transformer of the soul. Ya Muqallib al-Qulub, Thabbit qalbi ala dinik. May make my heart and make my soul to be well grounded in my religion, to be the one strong in my religion. Subat is to be stable, to have a stable religion. Don't let me be of those who are religious 1 month and the next month I'm back and forth, exiting and entering my religion. Let me be stable. Thabbit qalbi ala dinik. This is a dua of the time of ghaibat that we're living in. Highly recommended. So number one, know the Imam. To know the value of the Imam. Number two, we need to recognize the wukala. So at the time of the Imams, they had wakil, they had direct representative. In our time, the Imam of our time in the Ghaibat al-Kubra does not have any direct representative. He doesn't have anyone. No one can come and claim in Ghaibat al-Kubra that Imam al-Zaman appointed me. No one claims that and no one can. But what we have are those who represent the teachings of the Imam, which we call them ulama, maraji, and mujtahideen. These are the ones that they spend decades of their lives to learn the religion and then communicate that message to us. Because if I go and open the book and I cherry pick what I like and what I dislike, that means living without guidance. That's living without guidance. Yes, we don't have direct access to Imam, but we have access to the teachings of the Imam. But how make sure that somebody is going to cleanse it? Because as you know, there are many enemies out there. There are those who fabricated lies in the name of Ahlul Bayt. Imam Reza said, people did multiple levels of injustice to us. One injustice they did to us were the ghulat, those who exaggerated about us. Those who take us in the status of a god and made people to curse us. They did zulm to us with ghulub. The second who did injustice to us, those who demoted us to a level of an average person. They call us another scholar of deen, which we're not. And tumul adilla'u ilallah. They're the guidance, the proof of Allah. They're the divine guidance. They're no average scholar. So they did zulm to us. They demoted us as well. Alim ad-Din, make sure cleanse these things. Because you open the book, there's so many things. Especially right now, we think WhatsApp is, a tawzi al-masail. Anything we see on WhatsApp, Bismillah, WhatsApp said it, right? WhatsApp said it, recited 23 times and a half. What is the half? It said it 23 times and a half. And many of those things is not reliable, especially when it comes to religion. And WhatsApp, unfortunately, is the issue of, I've been talking about WhatsApp probably for the last few years because I get some of those messages once in a while. That's why it's difficult for me to find, proper messages on WhatsApp. A lot of them are forward messages, and some of them make no sense at all. There are traditions that they try to talk about vaccination and involve religion in. And I don't get it. I said, look at the Mujtahideen and Maraji, what they say. Again, I'm not saying, listen to me. I have an opinion, but as a person, I follow the Mujtahid and Marja. What Marja said? Marja says in a matter of vaccination, follow the experts. Follow when it comes to the people who are professionals in that field. That's the Marja. That's Sayyid Sistani. That's Ayatollah Wid Khorasani. That's Ayatollah Makarim Shirazi. That's Ayatollah Nuri Ahmadani. That's Ayatollah Fayyaz. The list goes on. Experts. Who is expert in the matter of medicine is the doctor, is the infectious disease expert. Listen to them. If they tell you something, take it. No, but WhatsApp said it otherwise. I can't argue with that. There's not much to argue. So it's important to know the representative of in the time of occultation, not direct representative, but those who teach us the teaching of Ahlul Bayt with cleansing all those, let's call them imperfection, let's call them all those fabrication, because he has the expertise to make sure which hadith we can rely on. Because their tradition, there's ilmul hadith, there's a knowledge and it is a specific field that you study tradition. There's ilmul rijal, a study of the narrator of tradition. This is not something that every person can do. That's the role of alim. And then the third, in the time of occultation, assist one another. Naf'ul ikhwan of Imam Askari, because we are living at a time that we're a minority. Yes, it's good to help everyone. We don't deny anyone, regardless of their religion, regardless of their mazhab. It's good to help anyone. That's the way Ahlul Bayt were, by the way. Imam Ali, when he was going door to door in the city of Kufa, he was feeding people who thought of him to be the worst people in his time. He was feeding his own enemies. That's the nature of Ahlul Bayt. Imam Sadiq was taking food to the neighborhoods who were not Shias of Imam Sadiq. So our Imams did not limit their help to only people of Shias, but Shias must give attention to the other Shias. That's for obvious. That's for obvious. That's why when it comes to zakat, even zakatul fitr, the priority goes to spend the zakatul fitr in your own city. That's according to Maraja. Sayyid Sistani said, it is not acceptable to send your zakatul fitr overseas unless there's no one in your area. If you don't find any faqir in your area, then you can send it somewhere else. So the Shias in our community, we have a responsibility to. And now we celebrate the beginning of the Imamat of his son, Imam Mehdi Ajjallah Ta'ala Fajr al-Sharif. I will finish with if you we know one of the famous du'as in regard of the Imam of our time is Du'a Nudba, which means lamentation. Again, going back to my point, Nudba, why is it called Nudba? Ayn al-Hasan wa Ayn al-Husayn, Ayn abna'u al-Husayn. Nudba means we are lamenting, we're sad, we're grieving for not having Imam present. That's the greatest nudba. So when you read the dua, nudba is about absence of the Imam. There's occultation of the Imam. The word absence is a bit incorrect because ghaybat, not necessarily, Imam is within, he's on this earth. He lives among us. He's one of us. He performs Hajj. He goes to Ziyarat al-Ba'in. But he's not, zuhur means apparent that everybody have access to. But one thing in Du'a Nudba, which is very beautiful and I want us to pay attention to, is the relationship between Imam Ali alayhi salam and Imam Mehdi. Because the Du'a Nudba starts with praise of Allah, and then right away after that, most of the phrases of Du'a Nudba is about Imam Ali. Why is that? Why Du'a Nudba, by the way, is recommended to be recited all for Eid of Muslimin. Eid al-Adha, Eid al-Fitr, Eid al-Ghadir, and Fridays. It's recommended, it's mustahab for all the 4 occasions. In Du'a Nudba, why is so much about Imam Ali? It's Ghadir. There's Man Kuntum Ala Fadha Al-Imran. There are verses about Imam Ali that why Imam Ali is the worthy leadership. And then we have the concept of the Imam Hussein alayhi salam for part, and then ending of Dua Nudbah, we come back to Imam Ali alayhi salam again. Why is it? Because the concept of Imamat started with Imam Ali alayhi salam. And the injustice that was done to Imam Ali alayhi salam, the greatest threat to the Imam of our time is the same one. That's why. People abandon Imam Ali alayhi salam and they seek refuge to non-worthy leadership. In the time of the Imam of our time, that's the same tragedy, that people think that anyone beside the Imam of our time could be ultimate guidance. Thinking that is the similar concept that people thought in the time of Imam Ali alayhi salam. That's why there's a lot of parallel description of Imam Ali and Imam Mehdi. When you look at them, we're talking about the same one. We call Imam Ali alayhi salam Mazloom because his haqq was taken away from him. The same thing is about Imam of our time, because Imam is ready. He's Mazloom as well, because it's not the shortcoming is not from his end. He's ready. He's the Imam. He's the Hujjat of God. But why is not here? Their shortcoming is from the other end, which is the earth, which is the people. For 11 living infallible, none of them were tolerated to live a normal life, not even one. All 11 Imam did not die the natural causes because of natural causes. All of them were martyred. Imam Askari, and it's interesting, as we go further, their lives get shorter. We look at the lives of the Imam. Yes, Imam Sadiq alayhi salam lived a bit, he was one of the Imam who lived the longest, but after him, you look at him. The lives of the Imam start getting shorter. Imam Jawad alayhi salam is the youngest Imam who was martyred, 24. Imam Hadi alayhi salam again. Imam Askari was 28. How long was Imam? 6 years. 6 years. Even to the standard of that time, 28 is how let's call it intolerable people were, that they didn't want this Imam to live. And this is an Imam who was literally under constant surveillance. He wasn't among people, because even if they tried to keep them limited in that army camp, still the light will go out. It's like when somebody would try to, use their hand to stop the light of the sun. Yes, you cannot see the sun, but the light is going to be everywhere. That's why the growing love among people of Ahlul Bayt was not able to be controlled by the Abbasis. That's why all of them, the conclusion was we should get rid of them. We should kill them. Are they, having a plan to, have an army to attack us? No, but they're growing. Their respect, their love, their credibility, their worthiness in front of people is growing on a daily basis. So our Imam is Mazloom, because the reason is ghaybat, because of at least majority of the people of the time, they were indifferent to the injustice that happened. And that's why Imam alayhi salam, Allah said, Baqiyatullah khairul lakum. This is the final reserve of God that Allah has to protect for the time when it's time ready. And people say, why you're Shias, you don't have 313? Why, if it's your fault? So you're self-sabotaging. You're talking about Imam Mahdi, but you're not ready. That's not really the case. This Imam Mahdi is not just for the Shias. He is, we call them, Hujjatullahi ala khalqih. He is the proof of God upon all the creation, not just Shias. He is the Imam for mankind. He is the justice for mankind. That's why mankind has to be ready. When you hear talks about injustice and zulm to be very prevalent at the time of Zuhur, is because that's the time that people start coming back to their senses, that we thought that again is possible to live without Imam. But the injustice teaches us one thing, that there are again going to be people who are privileged. They have everything and more than what they need. And we have people who don't even have the bare minimum to survive. Because you're privileged, it doesn't make it acceptable for people to live in that poverty, that impoverished lifestyle. So let me finish with a hadith. Because again, Eid-e-Zehra, when you say the name of Zahra, inshallah, she is happy because this is a time that the one who's promised to bring the haqq to this rightly place, that's the Imam. He will establish justice. He will make everything wrong right. That's why Hazrat Zahra is happy. That's why it's a time of celebration. But in order to make that happen, we need to over and over remember that the tragedy that happened to Imam Ali alayhi salam is the main reason that we are here where we are. That injustice against Imam Ali alayhi salam. The ayah I recited from Surah Yunus, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, قُلِ اللَّهِ يَهْدِي لِلْحَقِّ. O Prophet, tell them, the one who guides toward the truth is Allah. There is no election. There is no some elders coming and making the decision. قُلِ اللَّهِ يَهْدِي لِلْحَقِّ. And subhanAllah, the Prophet said, عَلِيٌّ مَعَ الْحَقِّ وَالْحَقُّ مَعَ عَلِي. That we can say the one who guides toward Ali is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So then after that, Allah says a statement, I want you to think about it. I will not open up too much. I'll leave that beauty of the analysis to be with you. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the continuation said, أَفَمَنْ يَهْدِي إِلَى الْحَقِّ أَحَقُّ أَن يُتَّبَعَ. Is the one who guides toward the truth is worthy to be the guide? أَمَّنْ لَا يَهِدِّي إِلَّا أَن يُهْدَى. Or the one who will not have any guidance unless that person received guidance. Which one is worthier of, according to Quran, أَفَمَنْ يَهْدِي إِلَى الْحَقِّ أَحَقُّ أَن يُتَّبَعَ. Haqq is truth. Haqq means which one is worthier, which one is more right. The one who guides or the one who is needing the guidance. If I ask you, if I'm someone who don't have any money myself, am I the one that I am supposed to help others? I'm personally, let's say, I need sadaqah to live day by day. Am I the one who's worthy to be the generous one and give, or the one who already have enough for his life and he's taking care of many other lives? Which one? And Allah says it's obvious which one is the answer. فَمَا لَكُمْ كَيْفَ تَحْكُمُونَ. How do you judge? SubhanAllah, this ayah I want you to remember, verse 35, Surah Yunus. Who is the one who said, if it wasn't لَوْلَا عَلِيٌّ لَهَلَكَ. If it wasn't because of Ali, I would have been perished. Which one is worthier of guidance? The one who's guiding or the one who needs guidance? Allah says. And that's the point that I think people forget. And then Rasulullah said to Imam Ali alayhi salam, Ya Ali, you are superior to any other people. First thing Prophet said, I'm superior to you because of nubuwwah. I have prophethood, you don't. But you are superior to all the other creation, including Quraysh, including people who think that they're related to me. Because of things you have that no one else dare to say that I have. Quickly, just list them. You have that, inshallah, as a reminder. The first one is said, أَوَّلُهُمْ لِدِينِ اللَّهِ. You were the first to believe in the message of Allah when nobody else did. That's make you superior to anyone else. That's why for 100 years after Prophet, writing the hadith of Prophet was forbidden. People have other excuses. They don't want hadith and Quran to get mixed up. They try to do this and that. But these are excuses. Because first of all, Quran was preserved by Huffaz, those who memorize it. And then you have Kuttab, those who wrote it. So you have already a way of keeping it intact. And then, of course, Allah promised that we preserve the Quran as a mu'jiz, as a miracle. Why try to look and excuse? But why for 100 years there is a forbidden rule and law to write the hadith of Prophet? Because the first day Rasulullah started giving hadith, Ali was sitting. Because the time that he brought Andir Ashiratak al-Aqrabin, The first family members you started said, who will listen to my message? Who will listen except Islam? If you do, you will be my successor. You will be the one who leads after me. And for 3 times, Ali alayhi salam was the only one who stood up. So imagine these narrations are being written down. Do you think people such as Muawiyah didn't even have a chance to spread that propaganda? People like Walid ibn Utbah and people like him, such as him, were exiled by Prophet, had a chance to rule over people, rule over Muslims. 100 years of silence. It was deliberate silence. Ban, mana'i kitabat hadith. And this is the hadith the Prophet said, Ya Ali, you're superior because number 1, awalam lidina. Number 2, aqwamihim li'amrillah. You're the one who are the most qiyam, means the one who's standing. You're the one that you stand for the sake of Allah, for the command of Allah. You're the one that you're being called, you're ready. You're summoned, you're ready. Aqwamihim. You're the readiest of all. And we know that by the history and the life of Prophet and Imam Ali, we know why he's the readiest. Which battle, Imam Ali alayhi salam, we can talk about? Is it when is Battle of Uhud? Who's the one that everybody is running away and Ali is standing? Aqwamihim li'amrillah. Is it the Battle of Ahzab and Khandaq when nobody dared to face Amr ibn Abdullah? Who is Aqwamihim standing this ground? Is it Battle of Khaybar? Which battle? Is it when it comes to putting your life in the Prophet? Is it anyone beside Ali sleeping in Rasulullah's bed? Is it in Mubahila when the Christians, they are in thousands, and Prophet and Imam Ali with the 3 other people are going without any arm? You should have trust in Allah that, we're going to the enemy. And if they plan to kill us, they can't kill us. This is Mubahila. How much faith you should have in Allah and His Messenger to go empty-handed. Aqwamuhum li'amrillah. The third one, Imam alayhi salam was told by Prophet that, Ya Ali, you're superior to anyone else. Awfahum li'ahdillah. You're the most loyal to the promise you made with Allah. You made the ahd, you made a pact with God. You're the one who's loyal to. Everybody else that promised, even if that means your own wife is going to be crushed between the door and the wall. You're loyal to the promise you made. For the sake of Allah, you're ready to put everything aside, to sacrifice your most beloved, precious in life, which is Fatimah-uz-Zahra. That's awfahum la'ahdillah. The third one, Rasulullah said, Ya Ali, you are aqsamuhum bis-sawiyya. When it comes to distribution, when it comes to, you're asked to be fair, you're the fairest in distribution. His sister, Hani, is Imam Ali's sister. She had a kaniz, she had a servant, and the servant was an Arab. So Hani came to get her share of public welfare, Baytul Mal. She got 20 dirham. Her servant went and she came out, and Hani, Imam Ali's sister, asked her, how much you got? So 20 dirham. So she went to Imam Ali and said, Ya Ali, you're my brother. We are from Quraysh. We are Arab. Our father is Abu Talib. And he starts saying things, and you're giving me and her, which she's not Ajam, she's not Arab, she's Ajam. You give us the same. And this is the response of Imam Ali alayhi salam. So I did not read any verse in Quran that made you, because of being Quraysh, because of our fathers, because of any of those qualities, worthier to have a bigger share. I didn't find any of them in Quran. This is the one when it comes to Sawiya and the distribution. And then, of course, the last one I finished with, Ya Ali aqsatuhum. When it comes to idalat, you're the most just of all people for the sake of Allah. And that is the idalat that people were very upset with them, because idalat doesn't please everyone. It pleases some people, not everyone. Of course, Imam Ali's sister is not going to be happy with the idalat. Of course, Talha and Zubayr, his own, used to be companion, and they were used to be warriors and war side to side. is not going to be happy when they're going to be treated the same as Qambar. They don't like that. That's idalat, but not everybody is happy with idalat. That's why in the day of Ashura, when Imam Hussein asked, why are you doing this? Why are you sharpening your sword? Some of them said, بُغْضًا لِأَبِيكَ, because of the hatred we have with your father. That's the beauty of justice. It gives haqq to the one who's worthy, but the one who stole the haqq will not be happy with that. And Imam Ali, he said, if that's the cost, if that's the price, I will handle it. I'll live with that. That's what George Jordan, the Christian Lebanese author, said. So the Ali alayhi salam, what eventually lead him to the mihrab and his shahadat was the idalat. Even he recognized the idalat. May Allah give us the tawfiq to learn these qualities from Imam Ali alayhi salam. And these are the qualities of Imam al-Zaman. When you say Imam al-Zaman, what comes to mind? Idalat. That's Imam al-Zaman. And what that idalat will not make all of us happy. So make sure there is no one else's haqq in my life. Otherwise, if Imam al-Zaman comes and tomorrow is the day of Zuhur, and the moment I live under the hukumat of Imam al-Zaman, who is going to be, will be upset? I will be, because I got something that wasn't mine. That's why it's important to be ready for the Zuhur, even before the Zuhur. That if Imam al-Zaman come to my house, he will not look at me and say, you called me by my name, Yabn al-Hassan. You called me Imam al-Zaman. You place your hand on your head as a respect and submission to me. And then in your life, I can see this is not yours. This is not your haq. I can see that what you got was not yours to begin with. May Allah inshallah grant us the tawfiq of following the Imam al-Zaman in the time of occultation and to be worthy to see the time of the zuhur of the Imam al-Zaman, inshallah. May Allah make all the Shias, all the lovers of Ahlul Bayt happy with the day that we see the zuhur of Imam al-Time, Imam Sahib al-Asr al-Zaman. May Allah return the animosity and the hatred of the enemies of Ahlul Bayt to themselves. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala punish all those who were responsible, all those who supported, all those who provided for these monsters who participated in this atrocities and this, ultimately it's a terrorist attack against the innocent people in Afghanistan and anywhere else in the world. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala punish them in dunya and akhirah. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help us to be among those who celebrate the majalis of Ahlul Bayt, to honor them as they said, يَحْزَنُونَ لِحُزْنِنَا يَفْرَحُونَ لِفَرَحِنَا. We're happy with their happiness. We commemorate and lament with their sadness, inshallah. I finished with the dua that I taught you, dua ghareeb of Imam al-Sadiq. Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, Ya Muqallib al-Qulub, Thabbit qulubana ala dinik, salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Bismillah, Bismillah.
السلام عليك يا رسول الله يا خاتم النبي. السلام عليك يا أمير المؤمنين ويا قائد الغر المحجلين. السلام عليك يا سيدة نساء العالمين ويا بضعة خاتم النبيين. السلام عليك أيها الإمام المجتبى يا ابن أمير المؤمنين. السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله وعلى جميع شهداء كربلاء المستشهدين بين يديك، بالخصوص علي الأكبر وعلي الأصغر وأبا الفضل العباس. والسلام على السيدة الحوراء زينب شريكة الحسين. ثم السلام على الأئمة المعصومين علي زين العابدين ومحمد الباقر وجعفر الصادق وموسى الكاظم وعلي بن موسى الرضا ومحمد التقي الجواد وعلي النقي الهادي والحسن العسكري. السلام عليكم جميعا ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليك يا صاحب العصر والزمان. السلام عليك يا إمام الإنس والجان. السلام عليك يا شريك القرآن، السلام عليك يا خليفة الرحمن، السلام عليك يا مظهر الإيمان. الأمان 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 من فتن الزمان، عجل الله تعالى فرجك وسهل الله مخرجك واجعلنا من أنصار ظهورك وأعوانك. السلام عليكم يا أهل بيت النبوة جميعا ورحمة الله وبركاته. دعاء إمام زمان. اللهم كن وليك الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة، وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا، حتى تسكن أرضك طوعا وتمتع فيها طويلا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. رأيك الشهود يا إمام الزمان فلنتر صلوات. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. نار حيدري يا علي.
What a wonderful speech, like always. I enjoyed it.